have to pinch myself, honestly. I mean, I'm the proof that, manifestation, is
Something strange is happening around Jim Carrey, and this time, it's not just fans asking questions. Reports are now claiming that someone close to him has started to notice things that don't add up: behavior, appearance, and small details that seem off. And according to these claims, the reaction was serious enough to raise even more concerns. What exactly did she see? And why are people saying this could change everything we thought we knew? Join us as we break down the full story, the viral clips, and the details that have everyone talking. The 2026 Paris appearance. On February 26, 2026, Jim Carrey made a rare public appearance at a major French film award show in Paris. It was one of the few times he had stepped back into the spotlight in recent years, which already made the moment feel important. During the event, he was given an honorary award, recognizing his long career in film and comedy. For many fans, this alone was exciting, but what happened next is what truly got people talking.
Yeah, if they're telling you that there's no clones, the guy telling you is probably a fucking clone. At this point, I have no doubt that they've made human clones.
Carrey delivered his acceptance speech entirely in French. This stood out immediately because French is not his native language, and it is widely known to be difficult to speak fluently, especially in a formal setting. He later explained that he had spent a lot of time preparing for this moment. He wrote the speech himself, practiced it repeatedly, and tried to make sure he could deliver it properly. During an interview at the event, he admitted that he felt nervous, especially after hearing others speak the language quickly and naturally. He described himself as a novice, making it clear that he was still learning and did not feel fully confident. A clip from that interview quickly spread online. In the video, Carrey appeared calm and composed. His voice was slower than what many people were used to hearing from him. He spoke carefully, choosing his words with intention. This was very different from the fast, energetic, and unpredictable style that made him famous. For some viewers, this shift was noticeable right away. There was also an emotional part of the interview where Carrey talked about his father. His tone became softer, and he showed a level of vulnerability that people don't often associate with his public persona. It felt more personal and reflective. While some viewers appreciated this side of him, others found it unusual.
Really is amazing.
I'm sure it works.
Really works. Can I bring him out?
Oh, he's here.
Yeah, he's always with me.
He's always, yeah, well,
Golf, can I?
One moment in particular stood out and was shared widely across social media. Carrey said, "My favorite funny face is the one I'm wearing right now." The line seemed simple, but it caught people's attention. Some interpreted it as a joke, while others thought it had a deeper meaning. The way he delivered it, with a slight pause and a subtle expression, only added to the curiosity. Almost immediately, the internet began reacting. Many people questioned whether this was really Jim Carrey. Comments started appearing that said, "This isn't Jim Carrey," and similar claims spread quickly. People began pointing out differences in his appearance. Some said his eyes looked different. Others focused on his nose, his face shape, and even the way his expressions moved. Side-by-side images began circulating, comparing this version of Carrey to how he looked in earlier years. A surprising number of people said he looked more like Keanu Reeves than himself. This comparison spread quickly and became one of the most talked about parts of the discussion. Whether accurate or not, it added fuel to the growing speculation.
Merci à ma merveilleuse famille. À ma fille Jane et à mon petit-fils Jackson. Je vous aime maintenant et pour toujours.
From there, theories began to form. At first, some suggested that he might have used a body double for the event. Others went further, claiming he had been replaced entirely. More extreme ideas also appeared, including references to clones and even lizard people. These claims were not based on evidence, but they spread quickly because of how unusual the situation felt to some viewers. What started as a simple award acceptance quickly turned into a viral mystery. A calm interview, a different tone, and a few small changes in appearance were enough to spark a wave of speculation that continued to grow. And this was only the beginning of how things started to spiral. The 2025 Rock Hall clip. As the debate around the 2026 Paris appearance grew, many people started looking for recent clips of Jim Carrey to compare. One video quickly became the center of attention. It was from late 2025 when Carrey appeared at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to help induct Soundgarden. This clip gave viewers a version of Carrey that felt very familiar. From the moment he started speaking, his tone was lively and playful. He made jokes, changed his expressions quickly, and kept the audience engaged. His delivery had that fast rhythm people had come to expect from him over the years. His voice moved up and down, and he didn't hold back when it came to humor.
I mean, I was on the show the other night. I was just...
In this appearance, Carrey looked comfortable and confident. His facial expressions were animated, and he used his body language to add to the performance. The way he spoke, the timing of his jokes, and the overall energy all matched what fans had seen from him in interviews and shows for decades. For many viewers, this felt like the real Jim Carrey. Because of that, this clip was quickly placed side by side with the 2026 Paris footage. The difference stood out immediately. In the Rock Hall video, Carrey was energetic, expressive, and constantly moving between ideas. In the Paris clip, he was calm, slower, and much more controlled in how he spoke. The contrast in energy levels became one of the biggest talking points. People noticed how active and playful he was in 2025, compared to how quiet and measured he seemed in 2026. His speech pacing was also very different. In the Rock Hall clip, he spoke quickly and naturally, often adding humor in between sentences. In Paris, he paused more, spoke carefully, and seemed focused on delivering his words clearly.
Bonsoir. Merci beaucoup. C'est très gentil.
This led to a major question online. How could someone appear so different in such a short time? Many users pointed out that the two clips were only about 4 months apart. Comments like, "Only 4 months apart? How is this possible?" started appearing everywhere. For some, the difference felt too big to explain easily. However, there are also more grounded explanations that were discussed. One of the most important factors is context. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame event is very different from a formal French award ceremony. At the Rock Hall, Carrey was honoring a rock band and speaking to an audience that expected humor and energy. It was the kind of setting where his usual style fits perfect. In Paris, the situation was completely different. He was speaking in a language that is not his own, in a formal environment, and in front of an international audience. It makes sense that he would slow down his speech to avoid mistakes and focus on clarity. Speaking in another language often changes how a person sounds and behaves.
They made dog clones. You can get your dog cloned. If your dog's gonna die, you can get the DNA from your dog, get a fucking puppy, and it'll be eerily similar to your dog. They think including some personality traits, which is just very bizarre, very Pet Cemetery. Right. But if they can do that, why can't they do that to people? They can.
Lighting and camera angles can also affect how someone looks. The Rock Hall event likely had stage lighting designed for performances, while the Paris event had a more formal and controlled setup. Makeup and grooming can also change how facial features appear on camera. Mood is another factor. At the Rock Hall, Carrey seemed relaxed and in his element. In Paris, he admitted that he felt nervous about speaking French. That alone could explain why he appeared more serious and focused. When all of these factors are considered together, the differences between the two clips become easier to understand. But online, where short clips and quick reactions drive conversations, these details are often overlooked. Instead, the contrast between then and now became the main focus. And for many people, it raised more questions than answers. And those questions only got bigger when people started digging into his past interviews and statements. Jim Carrey doesn't exist.
Yeah. Wow. So a lot of times when you see the rag magazines and you see me at Starbucks in Malibu, it's
him, yeah.
That's right.
Are you paying him enough? Because
I pay him a lot, and he gets laid.
As the comparisons and theories kept spreading, people started digging into older interviews of Jim Carrey. That's when a clip from 2024 began circulating again, and it added a whole new layer to the conversation. In that clip, Carrey says something that caught a lot of attention. "I don't exist. Jim Carrey is a character." On its own, that line sounds confusing, and for some people, it sounded suspicious. Once it started getting shared alongside the 2026 Paris footage, many viewers began connecting the two. They started asking if he had been hinting at something deeper all along. To understand what he meant, it's important to look at his philosophy. Over the years, Carrey has spoken openly about identity and fame. He has explained that the version of Jim Carrey the public sees is not exactly the same as who he is as a private person. In his view, the public persona is something that was built over time. It's shaped by movies, interviews, and what people expect from him.
You are not Jim Carrey. That's true or not? Please, give answer.
This idea is not new, but it can sound strange if taken out of context. When Carrey says Jim Carrey is a character, he is talking about the image he created as an entertainer. It's the loud, funny, high-energy personality that made him famous. According to him, that version was developed to connect with audiences and succeed in the entertainment world. This way of thinking also connects to comments he made years earlier. In 2017, during an interview at New York Fashion Week, Carrey surprised people with his answers. When asked simple questions, he began talking about how everything at the event felt meaningless. He said he didn't believe in icons or personalities. He even questioned the idea of identity itself. The interviewer seemed confused, and the clip quickly went viral at the time. Many people didn't know how to react. Some thought he was joking, while others believed he was being serious. The way he spoke, with a calm but unusual tone, made it harder for viewers to understand his point.
It's a wonderful feeling. I really took on a pretty big challenge trying to do my speech in French. So, I wrote it and I researched it and I practiced.
Later in 2017, Carrey gave another interview where he explained what he meant. He said that his thoughts about identity became clearer while he was working on the film about Andy Kaufman. During that project, he stayed deeply in character for long periods of time. This experience made him realize how easily a person can step into a role and live as that role. That led him to reflect on his own life. He began to see Jim Carrey as another role he had been playing, not in a fake or dishonest way, but as a version of himself that existed for the public. This realization changed how he talked about fame, identity, and the entertainment industry. However, when these clips resurfaced in 2026, many people did not look at them in this full context. Instead, short parts of his statements were shared online, often without explanation. This led to a very different interpretation. In conspiracy communities, his words were taken literally. Some people claimed that when he said he doesn't exist, he was revealing a hidden truth. They connected this idea to the ongoing claims that he had been replaced. According to these theories, his past statements were seen as proof that something unusual had happened. This is how a philosophical idea turned into part of a larger conspiracy narrative. A statement about identity and personal reflection was reinterpreted as something physical and literal. Instead of discussing his views on fame, the conversation shifted toward clones, doubles, and replacement theories. In reality, Carrey's comments are much more grounded. He has consistently spoken about how fame can create a version of a person that is different from their true self. His message has been about understanding that difference, not about denying his existence in a literal sense. When viewed in full, his statements reflect a personal and philosophical perspective. But when taken out of context and combined with recent events, they can easily be misunderstood. And as more old clips continued to resurface, the story only became more intense and harder for people to ignore. The Jimmy Kimmel moment. As the conversation around Jim Carrey kept growing, another old clip started making the rounds again. This one came from 2014 when he appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live. At the time, it was seen as a strange but funny interview. But in 2026, people began looking at it in a very different way.
Oh, like you don't know what it is. You don't know what that is.
During that appearance, Carrey walked onto the stage and immediately did something unusual. He made a triangle shape with his hands and stuck his tongue through it. When host Jimmy Kimmel asked him what he was doing, Carrey responded in a way that confused both the host and the audience. He said that this gesture was a symbol connected to a secret group and called it the all-mocking tongue. From there, the conversation became even more unexpected. Carrey started talking about how comedians and entertainers might be part of a system designed to keep people distracted. He hinted at the idea that there are powerful groups behind the scenes who control narratives and influence what the public sees and hears. He didn't go into clear detail, but the way he spoke made it sound like he was revealing something hidden. At the time, many people saw this as part of his humor. Carrey has always been known for saying unusual things and pushing boundaries during interviews. His style often includes mixing jokes with serious ideas, which can make it hard to tell when he is being fully serious. In this interview, his tone sat somewhere in between. He didn't laugh much while saying these things, but he also didn't clearly present them as facts. This mix created confusion. Some viewers thought he was joking in a clever way. Others felt that there might be some truth behind what he was saying. The audience reaction during the show reflected this uncertainty. There were laughs, but also moments where people seemed unsure how to respond. For years, the clip existed online as a strange but interesting moment. It would occasionally resurface, but it didn't create major controversy. That changed in 2026, when it became connected to the newer theories about Carrey being replaced. People started sharing the clip again, this time with a different message. Instead of treating it as humor, some began presenting it as evidence. They claimed that Carrey had been trying to expose something back in 2014 and that his words were now more important than ever. The hand gesture and the all-mocking tongue became symbols that were analyzed in detail. This clip also began to connect with broader conspiracy discussions online. Some users linked it to ideas about elite control and hidden groups influencing media and entertainment. Others connected it to trending topics like discussions around powerful figures and secret networks, including conversations related to Epstein. These connections were not based on direct evidence from the interview, but they spread quickly because they fit into existing narratives. One reason this clip keeps resurfacing is because it is easy to misunderstand. When taken out of context, short parts of the interview can sound serious and direct. Without knowing Carrey's style or the full conversation, it can be hard to tell what he meant. Social media often highlights only the most unusual parts, which makes the moment seem more dramatic than it may have been. Another reason is that the clip feels open-ended. Carrey did not clearly explain everything he was saying, and that leaves room for interpretation. People can project their own ideas onto his words, which is why the clip continues to be used in different ways over time. In reality, the interview shows a mix of humor, performance, and personal views. But in the context of 2026, it became something else entirely. It turned into a key piece of what some people believe is a much bigger story. And as more pieces like this kept coming together, the theories only grew stronger and more complicated. Jim Carrey disappears. In 2022, Jim Carrey made a statement that surprised a lot of people. Around the time of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, he shared that he was planning to step back from acting. He didn't say it in a dramatic way, but he made it clear that he felt satisfied with his career and was ready to slow down. For fans who had followed him for decades, this felt like the beginning of a major change.
Carrey, yes. What? I've covered a lot of fashion weeks. This is the first time I've run into Jim Carrey. Wait, tell me, is it true you're wandering this?
After that, his presence in public started to decrease. He appeared less often at events, gave fewer interviews, and stayed out of the spotlight most of the time. This shift was noticeable because Carrey had always been someone who stood out whenever he showed up. Now, he seemed to be choosing when and where he wanted to be seen. Between 2024 and 2025, there were a few reports about his lifestyle. Some outlets claimed that people close to him were concerned that he was becoming too isolated. These reports suggested that he was spending more time alone and keeping a very low profile. At the same time, there were also sightings of him at private gatherings, including small events with other comedians and friends. These moments showed that he had not completely disappeared, but he was clearly limiting his public exposure. Another important factor was his age. When Carrey turned 60, it was reported that this milestone had a strong emotional effect on him. According to some sources, it made him reflect on his life and pushed him further towards stepping away from Hollywood. There were claims that he wanted to disappear from the spotlight and live a quieter life. While these reports were not always confirmed directly by him, they matched the pattern of his behavior.
You understand what I'm saying? Exactly. I believe at this point we're all one race. We're the human race.
Because of all this, a certain public perception started to form. Many people began to say that Carrey hates Hollywood. This idea was not completely new. In past interviews, he had been critical of the entertainment industry and had spoken about how empty or fake it can feel. When those past comments were combined with his recent absence, it created a simple narrative. He was done with the industry and wanted nothing to do with it anymore. This is where things began to connect with the conspiracy theories. When Carrey suddenly appeared at the 2026 Paris event after being mostly out of the public eye, some people found it hard to believe. Their thinking was straightforward. If he had stepped away and wanted privacy, why would he return for a public event? From that question, some jumped to the idea that it might not be him at all. The logic behind this theory was not based on solid evidence, but it spread quickly. The idea that he wouldn't attend events, so this must be a double, became a common talking point in online discussions. It combined his reclusive behavior with the already existing doubts about his appearance, making the theory feel more convincing to some. However, there is a much simpler explanation. Stepping back from acting does not mean completely disappearing from public life. It often means being more selective. Carrey may have chosen to attend certain events that felt meaningful to him, like receiving an honorary award. At the same time, he could still avoid regular media appearances and large promotional activities.
If I ever went anywhere, we know why. You understand what I'm saying?
Setting personal boundaries is also a key part of this. After spending decades in the spotlight, it is natural for someone to want more control over their time and privacy. Choosing when to appear and when to stay away does not mean something unusual is happening. It simply means priorities have changed. In Carrey's case, his reduced public presence, combined with his past comments and the natural process of aging, created a situation where people began to fill in the gaps with their own ideas. Instead of seeing a person managing their life differently, some chose to see a mystery. And as the theories kept building, the focus soon shifted to the most debated explanation of all, his appearance. The conspiracy theories. By the time the Paris clip had been analyzed from every angle, one explanation kept coming up more than any other. Instead of clones or body doubles, many people started asking a simpler question. Did Jim Carrey just have cosmetic work done?
So long. They'll mute you. They'll try to mute you at all costs.
Looking closely at the 2026 footage, some viewers pointed out that his facial features appeared tighter than before. His upper face, especially around the eyes and forehead, looked smoother. This led to speculation about possible procedures, such as an eyelid lift or other upper face treatments. These types of changes can slightly alter how a person looks, especially on camera, and can make familiar features appear different. At the same time, there was debate about whether Carrey would even choose to go down that path. Some people claimed that he had spoken against cosmetic surgery in the past and preferred aging naturally. However, many of these claims were based on quotes that were not clearly verified. While he has criticized parts of Hollywood culture, there is no strong, confirmed record of him firmly rejecting all forms of cosmetic procedures. When you look at the industry as a whole, cosmetic changes are very common. Many well-known figures have gone through visible transformations over the years. For example, Madonna has often been discussed for her changing appearance. Renee Zellweger also drew attention when she appeared with a different look at public events. Simon Cowell has openly talked about using facial treatments, and Zac Efron has faced ongoing speculation about changes to his face.
And I expressed myself. And when I came out, I had lost my confidence. So I didn't have the confidence to take on the world.
On the other hand, there are celebrities who take a different approach. Pamela Anderson is often mentioned as someone who appears to be aging more naturally. While she may still use some treatments, her overall look has stayed closer to what people expect as someone grows older. This contrast shows that there is no single path, and each person makes their own choices based on what feels right for them. At the end of the day, all of this comes down to how quickly things can spiral online. A few clips, some differences in appearance, and suddenly people are questioning everything. Whether it's changes with age, personal choices, or just a different moment in time, not everything needs a wild explanation. But what do you think? Is this really just Jim Carrey evolving? Or is there something more going on here? Let me know your thoughts, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and stick around for more deep dives like this.